Stingfish is a Colombian street artist who uses found photographs to recreate the images on street art murals. These walls are recreated with inventions of psychedelic themes and elements. Stingfish is an amazing artist based in Bogota, Colombia. His works are based off images that he captures and overlay with a multitude of beautiful colors and patterning. Pieces created by Stingfish have appeared all around the world, with his signature faces popping up everywhere. His artworks can draw up different emotional responses to each piece. Often wild, sporadic, and never the same, his works are definitely an eye-catcher. This is another episode of The Arts Express. Welcome. Modern and contemporary Nigerian female artist Juliet Ezenwa Maja Pierce was first introduced to the creative world of painting and drawing by her grandmother, who was a traditional wall painter and decorator. She herself came from a long ancestral line of wall body decorators, popularly known as Uli. After graduating in 1990, she was posted to the Army School of Education in Ilorin, Kwara State, where she taught graphic arts to soldiers as part of her National Youth Service. In 1990, Juliet Ezenwa delved into different media in search of how best to express her art. Her primary purpose is to produce art that will remain relevant and endure. As a native of oil-producing Delta State of Nigeria, she has an interest in the environmental degradation that has been a consequence of oil exploration, and this has reflected in her art. Some of her works reflected the challenges of living in the Niger Delta. Juliet Ezenwa Pierce have been experimenting with mixed media methods using mirrors, printmaking methods, and now produces what she calls paintograph, drawing major inspiration from legendary Bruce Onogbaye.
My name is Juliet Ezenwa Maja Pierce. I'm a visual artist based here in Lagos. I say visual because I do both painting, sculptures, art installation. I'm one of those happy children who love to create things. I was happier as a child when I was playing with paint or mud or being creative. So I guess I've always been an artist even when I was a child and wasn't aware that there was anything like that. But however, I started practicing as a full-time artist after graduation in 1990, and the journey so far has been interesting, like most professions. And since it's a gift or a talent that comes naturally, it has been very satisfying. I derive great joy in producing the kind of art that I produce. They come from a very happy place. I tell people who want to go into the profession, you have to like it, you have to enjoy doing these things, you have to enjoy being creative. And then secondly, you need training, whether in formal education or under apprenticeship. You need training, you need people to teach you the craft and to teach you the trade, because you're going to have to live off it. So art is not bread or gari that everybody needs to buy on a daily basis. It's a luxury product. So there are very trying times when you don't make any sale, and this is where you live on. It is what provides your substance for living. So times can be trying, but there are other times when you make very big sales. you do well at an international auction, and you have serious collectors come to your studio, and above all, you have people who really just appreciate it and they just see a piece of work that is yours, you have produced, and they just say, oh, this is mine, it has my name written on it, this must go to my house. So that gives you satisfaction. To indicate that there are some changes happening in our time, you know, in tradition, when a new masquerade comes out, it's a sign of new things, a new season, new things to happen, changes in the society, in the community. So when I was going through some changes in my life, I produced these masquerades. They are made from recycled materials and found objects put together to create this. Each piece is created, and then we installed these to give it some vibe and then put everything together. It's really very innovative. But actually the idea came to me during my printmaking experience, and the mask itself is a printmaking plate, which I now made into a mask so that after printing I could still have an art piece out of it. So it serves two purposes. Art, like historic events or products, are documented and recorded by historians, and usually your work is categorized long after you're dead anyway. So if you do make it in history, there's plenty of time for other people to write about your style, how well you did or did not do. Our job right now is to produce the work and give them enough substance to write about. Some countries live on they survive on tourism, and it is the mainstay of their economy. Nigeria could do the same by providing facility, because that's where we're really lacking, facility and support for the creative industry. If that is really looked into, I guess we will do a lot more than we're doing already, and we're doing a great deal already.
Tunji Shotimirin is a lecturer in the Department of Drama in the University of Lagos. He started his creative journey in the 80s and has since been in love with the arts. Tunji Shotimirin came to prominence with Molue, a demonstration of the day-to-day happenings and peculiarities of the mass transit system in Lagos. Molue is a one-man show where you have characters representing facets of our socio-political life. You have the politician, the business people and drug sellers, malams, all kinds of characters trying to get to their destinations. He has played lead roles in many stage, film and television productions, and as a musician, he created Konkere Band to popularize a genre of music which sought to project Nigeria's culture through creativity in lyrical composition. A total theatre practitioner, Tunji Shotimirin's craftsmanship is unparalleled.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racist, with its governor having its lips dripping with words of interposition and nullification, one day in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places. Art is about, using your creativity to, affect what you do. In other words, you look at things the way that people who are not regarded as artists, who are not traditionally, described as artists, will look at things. In other words, you're looking at issues from, unique perspectives. I, started out here as at the University of Lagos Center for Cultural Studies as an apprenticed, artist, and I was exposed to performing arts, visual arts, music, and all of those, arts of the theater. I was lucky to, work with the late Bode Osoyin, people like Professor Duroni, who was Mr. Duroni in the 80s. He's now the Deputy Vice Chancellor. These were my masters. Professor Laz Ekweme, who was in the Department of English, Professor Akinyuba, Professor, Ebon Clark. All of these people actually were the ones that nurtured me. That's the Lagos axis of the artists that have given me, that have inspired the kinds of work that I do. But if you then go to Ibadan also, you have people like Professor, Dapo Adelugba, the late Professor Adedeji, Dr. Tide Malomo, who is also late, Dr. Lanre Bamidele, and all of that. So, quite a number of them. Of course, you cannot forget the great Nobel laureate himself, who is also a huge, inspiration to people like us. And I want to say that while I started out in the 1980s, the whole idea was to go and study law at the University of Lagos, but the admission was not forthcoming. You know how you work and struggle so hard to get admission, and it wasn't forthcoming. But luckily I came to Unilag and I met the late Professor Bode Osoyin, and I told him I was interested in acting, and he gave me a script. They were working on a play titled Omodo, which means, the Omodo, houseboy. And he gave me a script to read, and I had not even read more than 2-3 lines, and he said to me, yes, that's it. This is the kind of person we want. And he gave me a space and a role in the play, and that was how my career started out from the University of Lagos in the 80s up until now.
Let rhythm ring from the Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let rhythm ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let rhythm ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every hamlet and every village, from every city and every state, we will be able to speed up that day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews, Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Because of my journey, I've also had the opportunity of going back to school, University of Ibadan, where I did my diploma, the degree, the MA, and of course also I've gone into higher studies of the PhD, and I'm teaching here at the University of Lagos. And in the course of my journey also, I have also expressed myself in different areas of performing arts, in terms of music, in terms of dance, comedy, and play directing, poetry, playwriting, name it. Because if you started out here in the period that I joined the Unilag Center for Cultural Studies, you were exposed to, like I said, all the areas of the arts, including even documenting your works. Being able to document your works in a manner that other people, generations who are coming behind, will be able to, have access to the kinds of things that you have produced.
Friends and comrades, 20 years ago, London hosted a historic concert which calls to our freedom. Your voices carried the cross to cells in our prison cells, but tonight we are happy to stand before you free. We are honored to be back in London for this wonderful occasion, celebration. But even as we celebrate, let us remind ourselves that
Our work is far from complete where there is poverty and sickness.
Stage play essentially is about, doing it live. Let it happen for real. That's why it is usually described as known as live theater. Stage play is, peculiar to live theater practice and tradition. Because what is happening there is something that you cannot edit. You put in all your guts, all your, emotions, and it happens there live. You release the emotion live, and you are doing it before a live audience. So everything is live, okay? As opposed to television or screen, where you have all the, opportunities and the room to edit. You cannot edit. You can't edit. If you make mistake, you are gone for it. And that's why you have to prepare months. Several months of rehearsals will have to go into it. You sweat it out, you work so hard, okay, to get it ready. Psychologically, emotionally, physically, you must be fit. There are quite a lot of exercises and training sessions that you must go through before you become a stage actor. Some people even put their mothers and their cousins and their house girls. There is nothing wrong if you have the talent, but what is important is that training is very crucial. And that is why you cannot joke with live theater. So, we must get it right. Training, the technique, the process, the procedure, because we want absolute appropriate, way to move. There is a way in which you move on stage. Television is a lazy medium. It's good, but it's a lazy medium because the television can move and pan to the right. They can edit whatever mistakes. They can, dissolve. They can, dilute. Okay? They can scatter any, but for stage, you're on your own.
Love and Colors in Delphi is a play on the afterlife of past heroes Shente, Clytemnestra, Cleopatra, Kurumi, Oba of Ramwen, and Shaka. Here the playwright brought all these different cultures into a temple called Temple of Osiris under Shente, who was the least among them. In this play, they reveal secrets that happened when they were alive and why they did all they did in their time. Love and Colors in Delphi is an historic play which is illustrated with the use of costumes and makeup, bringing 6 heroes of different plays to one stage.
Your festival was some sort of magnificent one, but it baffles me what I was told.
The Roman arena was about gods. Whatever happened there was sanctioned by them.
Oh, surely, it must surely be some sort of violent and bloody gladiatorial engagement.
Stoicism was an ideal in Rome, what gave Caesar and Pompey their greatness.
Stoicism indeed. Well, I thought it was only in Oborawen's kingdom that people were slaughtered. You know something, Obi? Maybe our sense of stoicism is different from that of yours. Now I'll tell you what I've learned, Obi. Blame and derision are of the same source. No one wants to be blamed, but every man finds it most convenient and a spot to deride another. Stoicism.
Our Ludu was never meant to slaughter in cold blood. It was a training ground for the Roman legion.
Helpless men thrown to hungry lion and cheered on by widely intoxicated crowd can hardly be said to be a trained soldier, Obi. Or even the nobles, the slave of nobles defied to entertain their guests.
Was that part of safeguarding your empire?
Will you shut up?
No, let her. Those who died gave their lives.
The chiefs you had murdered did not keep their lives. Thompson did not give his life.
Thompson,
Thompson you had killed to appease your god at the feast of the royal coral beef.
you do not possibly mean the one who uttered the cursed prophecy coming of the white man. May he be punished wherever he is.
So you feel no remorse about his death, even now?
Our God demanded his life. I gave them his life. Yes, it meant nothing to me.
And the chiefs?
They were not loyal. They ganged up against me, ganged up against my empire, against our ancestors. And so they died as traitors that they were.
Quite frankly, Your Majesty, I think it was vendetta, and so do a lot of people.
You do not challenge the throne. You do not as much as speak ill of your king. It is a sacrilege, and the people knew that too well.
Perhaps it's because you spent too much time safeguarding beneath the business empire, and not the real empire you ruled over.
Every business that happened in my land was my business. Who dares to question my authority?
Definitely not your people. Since you had them killed, you had them called into submission. But the white man never succumbed to such naked display of power. From a man, irrespective of his position, the white man says no to such display of monopoly of power.
And then he can trample on other people's land and sovereignty, all in the name of friendship or mutual trade that is hardly mutual. I am not just a king for my people. Mel Salobwa. I am God.
Was only a rumor.
Oh, Gabez, you're most welcome. You seem to like the painting on the wall, Gabez. Everybody likes it.
What name do they call this?
Mural. Wall painting. The ancient type, actually.
Looks like memory to me.
Memory. Oh, yes. They are memory. Legend.
I am legend! How come my paintings are not on this wall? Your people have never heard of the greatness of Shaga, of the Amazulu, my battles, my victories, all my rages through the desert of Zululand. They have never heard about my victory dancing. Jabulani! Of their men, then the whole of Roman legion should have their heads examined. Or rather, you made Caesar and Mark Antony swear to their holy black stones to love you till death parted the three of you. How pathetic.
Stage is an immediate space you find the audience and make them to believe what you are doing. The most difficult space to manage as an actor is the stage. Indeed, theatre is life, cinema is art, and television is furniture. Thanks for watching.